Nancy Wong Yoon.
Hi everyone, as the voice of God announced, I am sociologist and sometimes journalism, Nancy Wong Yoon, and I will be your moderator for tonight's conversation on Squid Game Season 2. Woo! This is the acclaimed follow-up to Netflix's award-winning, most watched series ever, right? Season 1 debuted in 2021, feels like not so long ago, and quickly racked up over 265 million views in its first 91 days. And season 2 picked up right where it left off, breaking the premiere week viewership record in just 3 days, and becoming Netflix's second most popular non-English series with 192.6 million views. So Squid Game, as you may remember, made television history with 14 Emmy nominations, the most ever for a series not of the English language. And it won 6 of those. Season 2, and a lot of the winners are here tonight. Season 2 picks up 3 years after player 456 won Squid Game. Gi-hun gives up going to the United States and comes back with a new resolution in mind. He once again dives into the mysterious survival game, starting another life or death trial with new participants gathered to win the prize of 456 billion won. So the Hollywood Reporter hailed Squid Game Season 2 as pop culture's most urgent and salient work of art. So joining me tonight, you're all waiting, starting with creator, writer, and director Hwang Dong-hyuk. Followed by Lee Jung-jae, who plays Gi-hun. Next we have Lee Byung-hong, who plays In-ho, aka Frontman. Next we have Kwon A-shim, who plays Jung Geum-ja. Next we have Park Sun-hoon, who plays Cho Hyun-ju. And last but not least, we have Chae Sung-hyun, who plays Thanos. So welcome everyone. So we're going to begin now with a question for Director Hwang. So season 2 expands on the world of Squid Game. So how did your writing and directing evolve when deepening the universe beyond the original concept?
첫 번째 시즌이 아무래도 처음으로 이제 자본주의 사회를 이 스퀴드 게이밍이라는 것에 비유를 해서 지금의 사람들을 무한 경쟁으로 내몰고 있는 지금 자본주의의 모습 이런 것들을 좀 소개하고 거기에 대해서 얘기를 나눠볼 수 있는 질문을 던지려고 했었다면 시즌 2에서는 거기서부터 좀 더 이제 들어가서 기훈과 프론트맨의 어떤 대결, 이 사회에서 여전히 우리는 인간성을 지키고 살아갈 수 있을 것인가라는 그런 질문을 둘러싼 이 둘 간의 대결, 인간성에 대한 믿음을 지키려는 기훈과 그것을 의심하고 그것을 비웃는 프론트맨의 어떤 철학, 자기 세계관의 대결을 중심으로 해서 새롭게 이야기를 펼쳐보고자 했습니다.
If in season 1, the universe of Squid Game was an allegory of the current capitalist society that we live in, where so many of us are driven, if not forced, to limitless competition, I wanted to introduce that world and ask important questions that needed to be asked. And in season 2, I wanted to explore it even deeper, where we get to see the showdown of Gi-hun and the frontman and ask questions such as, is humanity capable of holding on to that humanity, and is there hope for all of us? And so I wanted to explore some of the major themes as well as the philosophies of these two main characters, Gi-hun, who wants to hold on to that and protect his belief that there is hope for humanity, and the frontman who has doubts about that.
And next question is for Lee Jung-jae. You're returning after winning an Emmy and SAG Award for your role in season 1. So what was your process of revisiting this role and continuing Gi-hoon's story?
일단은 그 게임장 안으로 다시 들어갈 때의 그 감정이 아무리 촬영이었고 세트장이었지만은 굉장히 기분이 묘했어요. 그래서 와, 내가 다시 이 세트장 안으로 들어가는 그런 느낌보다도 진짜 뭔가 진짜 더 엄청난 게임을 하러 들어가는 듯한 그런 느낌이어서 저도 이 연기자 생활을 오래 했지만은 촬영장에서 느끼는 감정으로서는 처음 느끼는 아주 묘하고 강렬한 감정이었어서 이 촬영이 과연 어떻게 끝날까 뭐 이런 생각이 그 들어가는 그 바로 그 첫 순간에 느꼈었던 감정인데 지금 이렇게 또 다 끝나고 또 여러분들과 함께 이렇게 다시 또 만나 뵙고 인사할 수 있게 되어서 너무 반갑습니다.
Well, first of all, when I walked back onto the set of Squid Game once again, even though it was on production, it was a set, I felt a very strange feeling that I honestly have never felt before. And to be walking back on the game set, it didn't feel as if I was walking onto a production set. It actually almost felt as if I were really walking into Squid Game to play the game. And even though I've been an actor and performer for a very long time, I think I've never felt that way about stepping onto a production set. Just the level of emotions that I felt were very strange, complex, and very intense. And I also began to wonder where this journey was going to take Gi-hoon to once again. And to have wrapped everything up and to be sitting here with all of you and to be speaking with you, I'm extremely excited and very happy.
This next question is for Lee Byung-hun. The front man is the mystery, right, of the show. He has so much power and presence while making audiences wonder, what is he going to do next? How did you create such a dynamic character on screen? Was there a process in building up frontman's backstory?
시즌 2에서는 이제 드디어 제가 마스크를 벗고 새로운 인물로 또 연기를 새롭게 또 다른 인물을 설정을 해서 연기를 했어야 되고 또 프론트맨 본인이 있었고 또 이전에 진짜 황인호라는 정말 형사로서 정말 절박한 삶을 경험한 이후로 이 게임에 참여했던 그런 어떤 절박했던 심정에 또 인호가 있었고 이 세 가지의 캐릭터들을 한꺼번에 연기를 하는 것이 배우로서 굉장히 좀 부담스러운 측면도 있었지만 또 한편으로는 굉장히 재미있는 경험이었어요. 그래서 때에 따라서 어떤 정도의 수위로 이 톤을 유지하고 연기를 해야 되나에 대한 부분을 늘 감독님과 한 장면 한 장면 그 수위를 조절해가면서 촬영을 했었고 또 지금 다 지나고 나니까 그런 기억들이 굉장히 또 좋은 어떤 추억으로 남는 것 같습니다.
Well, in season 2, I finally get to take my mask off, and I had to portray yet another or newer character. There was the part of my character as the frontman himself. There's also the character In-ho, where you get to see more about the backstory, during which he led a very desperate life as a police detective. And there's a third part where I am portraying this person who's part of the game as a game player. And having to portray all of those three aspects of the character as an actor, part of it was quite daunting, and I did feel a little bit of pressure, but also I have to say I had a lot of fun with it. With each moment, it was really about how much of each of the persona do I bring to the surface, the degree and the tone. So about that, I would constantly be in discussion with Director Hwang, and for each scene, we would discuss about out which degree I want to portray for each persona. And now that I'm here looking back on all of it, it all comes back to me as really wonderful memories that I hold dear to my heart.
This next question is for Kang Asian. So coming into the competition, Gamja, didn't know what the stakes were that she was putting herself in. So how did you put yourself in her shoes competing alongside your son, the character son?
그냥 아들의 빚을 갚기 위한 단순한 게임장으로 알고 들어왔는데 이게 갑자기 무궁화꽃이 피었습니다부터 해가지고 사람이 죽어나가고 하니까 아들과 경쟁한다기보다는 아들이라도 살려야 되겠다는 그런 심정을 갖고 연기를 했죠. 그리고 제가 또 아들 하나 둔 엄마로서 그 아들이 어떻게 하면 좀 건강하게 잘 크길 바라는 마음으로 아들을 키웠지 않겠습니까? 그러니까 그런 심정으로 열심히 연기를 했습니다.
So I went into the game just thinking that I would be able to pay off the debt of my son. But when I stepped into the very first game, the red light, green light, I realized that people were actually dying and being killed off there. So instead of thinking that she has to compete with her son, I think Kumja probably felt that she wanted to protect her son and make sure that her son lives out alive. So I am actually a mother of a son myself in real life. So I always raise my kid thinking that I just hope that he would be healthy and that he would grow into a good person. So that is how I tried to really feel my character Kumja, and that's how I created my character.
So the next question is for Park Sung-moon. Hyungju has a very significant reason for wanting to win the money. As a player, she is more quickly detected and vulnerable. What was your reaction to playing such a meaningful role? How did you find the inspiration?
이 현주는 이 게임장에서 보기 드물게 굉장히 이타적이고 또 용맹하고 배려심 있고 리더십까지 있는 그런 아주 저한테는 선물 같은 캐릭터였는데요. 감독님과 제일 첫 번째로 이야기를 나눴던 건 현주가 절대 희화화되지 않았으면 좋겠다는 사실이었고요. 트랜스젠더라는 거는 현주의 한 가지 특성으로 생각을 했고 그녀의 성정에 더 집중해서 연기를 해나갔던 것 같습니다. 그리고 혹시라도 조금이라도 희화화되지 않을까 해서 과도한 제스처나 뭐 보이스톤 이런 것들을 조금 절제해가면서 촬영에 임했습니다.
So unlike the other players in the game, Hyunju is someone who's selfless, she's brave, she knows to be compassionate around people, and she's got leadership as well. So it was like a nice Christmas present for me to be able to work on this role. And my first biggest priority that I talked together with director Hwang was that I did not want to portray her in a mocking way at all. So I think being her being a transgender is just one of the traits that she has, and she has so many different characteristics that are admirable. So I wanted to focus on those admirable qualities that she has as a person, and I tried to avoid any forced gestures or voice tones so that she doesn't feel like a mockery.
This question is for Choi Sung-ho. So your character was someone, Thanos, was someone I think viewers and other players love to hate and hated to love. So when I watched the series with my family, you were my teenage daughter's favorite character. How did you wrap around your head creating a character with so much influence both on and off screen?
타노스 같은 경우에는 성공한 래퍼가 아니라 이제 힙합 경연대회에서 준승한 루저 캐릭터 같은 루저 래퍼로 캐릭터를 처음 생각을 했던 것 같아요. 그래서 감독님과 굉장히 많은 대화를 나누면서 조금 더 과장스러운 제스처가 있으면 재밌겠다 싶은 부분들도 있으면서 감독님과 굉장히 많은 대화를 나누면서 어떤 부분은 굉장히 좀 크린지할 수도 있고 어떤 부분은 되게 그냥 악의적이어서 악이 아닌 좀 덜 떨어진 그런 초등학생 같은 몸은 어른이지만 어떤 부분에 있어서는 정신 연령이 초등학생 수준밖에 안 되는 래퍼가 아닐까라는 생각으로 캐릭터를 출발했던 것 같습니다.
So my character Thanos is not a successful rapper. He went to compete in a rap competition, but he didn't get the first place. He got second place, and I felt like he was sort of a failed loser type of rapper. So that's how I try to portray my character. I had a lot of talks with director Hwang, and we agreed that he should use a lot of big gestures, a little bit cringe at times. But he's not like a really villainous villain, but I think he's more like a man-child or who's still kind of a kid. So that's how I wanted to start off delving into my character.
So, Director Hwang, you had mentioned that you're kind of revisiting the theme of capitalism this season, and even in this episode, there were like nonstop ethics and choices and accountability or lack thereof. What are the things that you wanted to kind of take further in this season from the themes of the first season about capitalism?
첫 번째 시즌에서 사실 이제 이 투표를 통해서 나가든가 게임을 계속하든가를 결정할 수 있는 걸 만들어놨는데 첫 번째 시즌에서는 많이 활용을 하지 않고 그들이 이제 자발적으로 게임을 하려는 장치로만 사용을 했었는데 시즌 2에서는 이제 그 투표 제도를 보팅을 좀 더 많이 다뤄보고 싶었어요. 현재 우리 전 세계에서 자유민주주의를 가진 모든 나라들은 이제 1인 1표를 가진 평등한 투표 시스템에 의존을 하고 있고 그것을 통해서 정기적으로 우리 지도자를 뽑아서 앞으로 나아갈 그 나라의 방향을 정하게 되는데 사실 점점 요즘 뭐 전 세계에서 일어나고 있는 많은 정치적인 혼란들 그리고 선거를 둘러싼 갈등들, 분열들 그런 것들을 보면서 지금 현재 이 디모크러시 민주주의 자유투표 다수결 제도가 완벽한 제도인가 우리는 정말 다수가 하는 선택이 꼭 옳다고 얘기할 수 있는가? 특히 요즘처럼 뭐 가짜 뉴스 파퓰리즘이나 AI에 의한 선동들, 가짜 뉴스들이 판을 치는 이런 시대에 유권자들은 과연 올바른 길을 다수가 택할 수 있는 세상인가라는 그런 많은 질문들을 좀 이 투표를 통해서 던져보고 싶어서 시즌 2에서는 여러분들이 보셨듯이 매 게임 후에 투표를 하는 과정을 통해서 그들이 어떤 갈등과 혼란을 겪고 어떤 결정을 내리게 되는가를 좀 더 탐구해보고자 했습니다.
In season 1, there was the element of voting among the players whether or not they could stay or leave. However, it wasn't as utilized in season 1. It was just a kind of a minor setup to highlight the point that the players are in there by free will. So in the second season, I wanted to further explore voting. As we all know, in many countries around the world that have chosen free democracy, every person is given the right to cast a vote, and that is how we choose our leaders. However, we see all around the world more and more exacerbated political turmoil and confusion, chaos, and even further division and hate that is focused or centered around elections. And so I wanted to ask these questions of, is vote by majority the right path? Can we as a group choose the right direction as a result of elections and democracy? Can we always, or can we be sure that we always know how to make the right choice through elections? Especially in a world where we are filled with so much fake news, and it's so much easier to generate fake news with the advance of AI in particular. And in that kind of world, can voters choose the right leader and the right path? So these were some of the questions that I wanted to further explore, especially in season 2. With the voting taking place after each round of the games.
한 가지만 덧붙이자면 사실 2차 세계대전을 일으킨 아돌프 히틀러도 독일 국민의 보팅에 의해서 뽑힌 지도자였잖아요. 그런 것들이 여전히 세상에 시사해주는 지점이 있는 것 같습니다.
And just to add on to that, we all know that Adolf Hitler was also a leader that was voted by the majority of the German public. So I think these are important questions that need to be addressed.
Very relevant to our current situation. So Lee Jung-jae, this is there is now a popular meme, do y'all know it? Of people saying, I've played these games before. I don't even know if it was actually a correct quote from season 2, but there's also the meme of you like smiling and then looking sad this season. I think there's something about popular culture that all of the Squid Game memes seem to feature you. And I think it says something about that the public really identifies with Ki-hoon, right? And so how do you, like, what is it that you think about Ki-hoon's character that is so identifiable and memeable by society? No, you're covering your mouth too.
일단은 첫 번째로는 되게 엉뚱한 기훈을 만드셔서 아마 그런 기훈의 여러 모습을 좋아하시는 것 같아요. 그래서 감독님의 아이디어가 캐릭터를 되게 이렇게 너무 이렇게 입체적으로 이렇게 좀 그리고 또 이렇게 잘 보지 못했었던 어떤 그런 인물로 이렇게 그려주시니까 약간 좀 이게 무슨 맛이지라는 어떤 그런 생경함도 좀 있는 것 같아요. 그런데 또 저도 이제 그 대본을 읽으면서 이런 표현은 되게 신선하다. 또 와 이렇게 캐릭터를 되게 다양한 각도에서 이렇게 입체적으로 이렇게 잘 써주셨구나라는 거를 저도 이제 시나리오를 보면서 이제 굉장히 신선하게 느꼈는데 저도 이제 연기자니까 이거보다 조금 더 어떻게 더 신선하게 만들 방법이 없을까를 저도 많이 고민을 했거든요. 근데 그런 고민의 흔적들이 이제 잘 찍혀서 또 잘 찍힌 부분들이 여러분들께서 또 재미나게 봐주신 어떤 그런 결과로서 밈까지 나온 게 아닌가 싶은 생각이어서 이게 한 사람의 고민으로 시작된 그 시작이 여러 과정의 그 시간과 어떤 그런 그 많은 일들을 겪어가면서 여러분들이 이렇게 보시는 결과물까지 이렇게 나오게 된 이 수많은 과정과 어떤 그런 그 스토리가 있거든요. 또 촬영했을 때 그 스토리들이. 그래서 이런 그 과정을 여러분들과 함께 이렇게 대화를 하는 것이 너무 즐겁고 그리고 또 이렇게 또 밈으로까지 여러분들이 또 되게 짧은 영상으로까지 이렇게 만들어 주셔서 이렇게 SNS에 이렇게 막 올려주시는 거를 또 보는 것도 저희는 너무 감사하고 즐겁습니다. 너무 감사하고 또 감사드립니다.
Well, first of all, I have to say that Director Hwang created quite an eccentric and unique character that is Ki-hoon. And I think he's also a character that's a little bit full of surprises and someone who is very three-dimensional. And I also think that maybe Ki-hoon is a character that you've really never seen on the screen before. And so it's almost like you're tasting a new dish that you don't know what the flavor is because you have never tasted that flavor before. So I definitely think a lot of the love that's shown towards this character has to do with the originality and him being so refreshing. And when I was first reading the script, there were moments when I was quite surprised and I was really in awe of the originality of how the character was portrayed. And also I was in awe of Director Hwang's ability to create such a three-dimensional character. And as an actor, I would, start to think about how do I bring even more originality or uniqueness to this character. And I'm just very glad that all of you loved the result that we came to create. That is the Ki-hoon that you all know and love. And to be at the center of so many great memes. I mean, what can I say? I'm so thankful for all of that. And there's a lot of effort and many different stories behind the scenes that went into, what was created in one person's mind to the final result, which is the Ki-hoon that you saw on screen. And it's always fun to talk about that process and the behind the scenes stories with you all and in places and opportunities like this. So again, thank you all for making a lot of memes about me and also for posting them on your social media. I'm having a lot of fun watching all of them, and I'm just filled with a lot of gratitude, so thank you.
So this next question, I'm going to play a little bit since Lee Byung-hun is sitting next to Kang Ae-shim. So the front man holds a lot of power, yet he joins the game as a player, right? So people think he's a player. In that episode that we just watched, so front man, you know, it's the episode where Kang Ae-shim just had her son betray her, right? And then the front man starts to goad her into like, so what happened there, right? And then she has to cover up for her son. And so I wanted to know kind of the mindset behind each of you. Like, what were you thinking, you know, in goading her to, like, what is the motivation to get her to feel bad? I don't even know, right? And then for her to then cover up for her son and maybe for herself.
그 장면은 사실 내가 계속 기운을 관찰을 하면서 인간의 본성이라는 건 결국 이런 거다라고 어떤 가르침을 혹은 깨달음을 주려고 계속 하고 있었다면 그 장면에서만큼은 기운과 또 용식과 금자에게까지도 아들인데 엄마를 버리는 이 상황들을 사실은 약간 비아냥거리는, 조롱하는 그런 느낌의 그런 기분을 가지고 사실은 프론트맨의 그 이미 어떤 비관적인 끝을 달리고 있는 프론트맨의 생각으로 사실은 그렇게 비아냥된 느낌이거든요. 사실 걱정하는 듯하게 금자에게 이야기를 했지만 그 마음속 안에는 결국 인간이라는 것은 이렇게 그런 행동을 극한의 상황에서는 할 수 있는 게 인간이라는 거를 슬쩍 드러내는 그런 씬이었어요. 그러면서 금자가 나한테 막 화를 내는 모습을 보면서도 결국 그렇게 모든 일이 내가 얘기한 대로 벌어졌지 않느냐 하는 그런 어떤 비웃음 같은 그런 감정으로 그 상황들을 이렇게 관조하게 되는 그런 프론트맨의 마음이었던 것 같아요. 그 당시에는.
In that particular scene, Frontman is always observing Ki-hoon and always wants to teach Ki-hoon this lesson, wants him to know that there is no hope in humanity, and you know, human nature is hopeless. And I think in that particular scene and moment, the frontman wanted to teach that lesson to not only Ki-hoon but also to Kumja as well and Yong-sik, because this is a mother who stands in front of him after being betrayed almost by her son. And so he's almost poking fun at that fact, almost mocking her for that, because the frontman is the ultimate cynicist. And so, you know, he pretends to be worried for her, but on the inside, he's poking fun and mocking the fact that, you know, almost like an I told you so moment, where he is poking at the fact that that is what human nature does to you if you're driven to the extreme. So that's a moment where you see that sort of peek through the character. And as he watches Kumja get upset and very angry at him, it's almost as if he is once again confirming his belief that that's what humans do, and he's almost mocking it all.
우리 아들은 절대로 엄마를 버리지 않았습니다. Never.
My son never abandons his mother.
단지 우리 아들을 끌고 간 두 명의 남자 힘이 너무 셌어요. 제가 볼 때도. 사실은 먼저 그 처음에 찍었을 때 가라고 유고 가라고 이렇게 그런 대사가 있었어요. 그래서 그 씬이 참 아름답게 표현이 돼서 이병헌 배우가 저한테 옛날에 붉은 수수밭이라는 영화에 공리 배우 같다고 그 얘기를 딱 듣는 순간 너무 황홀하고 행복했죠. 저는 이거 맨날 얘기할 겁니다. 누구를 만나도. 그랬는데 잠깐 편집된 거를 보시더니 너무 초연한 느낌보다는 본인도 두려운 느낌이 좀 가미되는 게 좋은 것 같다면서 다시 찍어서 아마 그게 방영이 된 거예요. 그러니까 저는 진짜로 우리 아들이 나를 버렸다는 생각 안 하고 아들이 살아서 너무 다행이라고 생각했는데 이제 영일 씨였죠? 저한테는 영일로 알고 있었는데 영일 씨가 그런 질문을 하니까 갑자기 화가 확 나더라고요. 그래서 어쨌든 다다다다다다 혼을 냈지만 이 마음속에 배우로서 배우 강혜심은 이병헌을 혼내다니 너무 통쾌했어요.
So yeah, my son would never abandon me. I think it's just the two men who were carrying him away were too strong. So he just had to be dragged away. And at the very first take, I actually had a line where I said, off you go, just go. And Byung-hun told me that I look like the actress Kong Lee in Red Sorghum, the movie that's quite old. It was in the 80s or 70s. And I love that comment, so I'm telling everyone that he said that to me. I love that compliment. But then later on, we saw the rough edit, and Director Hwang said maybe she is also a little bit afraid deep down. So maybe let's have that. So that's why the one without the line made it to the final cut. But I still don't think that my son abandoned me, and I think Kumjal is just really happy to see him alive. And when Young-il questioned me about what happened to my son, it rubbed me the wrong way, and I would scold him really fiercely. But as Aeshim, as the actress myself, I was just really happy that I get this opportunity to scold the superstar, Lee Byung-hun. So it was very cathartic.
So for Park Seung-hoon, so Hyunju, you mentioned that Hyunju becomes a leader, and I think that how did you build? Because this is a big arc, right? From being very ostracized and vulnerable to becoming a leader and really very badass. If you've all seen the season, right? I was like, get him, Hyunju. Okay. And so, how did you build that arc from being so ostracized to become a leader of everyone?
현주는 특전사 출신의 캐릭터여서 이제 몸이 훈련되어 있어서 자동적으로 반응하는 것도 있고요. 그리고 내재되어 있는 원래 이런 리더십이 있어서 게임을 해 나가면서 자연스럽게 이들을 부드러운 카리스마로 이끌어 나가게 되는 그런 과정이었던 것 같습니다.
So Hyunju is a former special forces soldier, so she's trained very well. I think it was her natural reflex to kind of lead everyone and become that leader, because she is a natural born leader, and I think she just really warm-heartedly and nicely carried everyone on.
So for Chae Sung-hyun, yes, so Thanos has a really unique approach to life. You mentioned man-child in your last response, a kind of carelessness, right? But there are also moments where he's very vulnerable, and perhaps that's the childlike. How did you work to find that balance?
감독님과 기존에 본 적 없었던 새로운 캐릭터를 만들어 보자는 대화를 많이 나누던 중에 감독님께서 현장에서 이제 가장 많이 디렉팅을 저에게 주셨던 재밌는 에피소드는 좀 더 미쳐주세요 혹은 좀 덜 미쳐주세요 이런 말씀을 되게 많이 하셨었어요. 그래서 제가 어느 정도 레벨까지 미칠 수 있는지를 타노스를 하면서 배우게 된 것 같습니다.
So I had a lot of talks with director Hwang, and we agreed that we wanted to create a never-before-seen, new and fresh, unique kind of character. And the direction that he gave me a lot was either to go more crazy or go less crazy. So by acting this character Thanos, I could learn to what level I can go crazy.
I'm so angry, man!